Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to State of the Cinema, which is of course our weekly update for Casablanca Cinema crew and patron to see what is going on behind the scenes at Casablanca Cinema. Now, let's get into this. I have a lot of sketches for you guys this week. More specifically, we're working on the pre-production of American Kingdoms, which is a project that you will be hearing more about in the future. But right now we're sharing some of the behind the scenes work and stuff we're not really gonna release really fast, because it's really more about getting some basic art made for the world building and then doing what we would like to call proof of concept POC videos. More about that later on. First off, very simply, the poster for American Kingdoms is out. You can see it behind me here. It's really badass. You know, I've always wanted to do this sort of King Washington on a throne art. I'm really happy with it, how it came out. So if you would like this poster, feel free to get one. There are, of course, patron discounts as well as the collector's sale on posters, which should be coming out somewhere in the next few weeks. We are working on one more poster, which is the runner-up of last year's patron poster vote, which we generally release to the public, right? So the second place poster, I think that was AlexLP's Pacific States poster, if I am not mistaken, but I could be wrong on that. It's basically a PSA Engineer poster proposed by AlexLP. So more on that later on. So, King Washington on throne poster. This will also double as the key art for World of American Kingdoms, the Union. The Union, of course, in this case being the titular America in the American Kingdoms. Aside from that, we are of course doing what we like to call patron frames or black and white frames. These are generally a mix of trying to get some patron portraits in there, as well as, you know, getting some world building done. Now this frame is done. It is Washington being crowned at Bunker Hill, probably going to be called Citadel Hill. Just a second, that background audio is a little funky with Streamlabs every now and then. Anyway, Washington at Bunker Hill being crowned. So we had this cool idea of like a bunch of Vikings crowning Washington as the king, of course, of the titular American Kingdoms the moment the British are defeated, which we will probably merge with the real historical event of the victory at Bunker Hill. So it will be Washington being crowned at Citadel Hill with the 13 state leaders, you know, dukes, the people picking up state leadership roles in this universe, kneeling before King Washington and pledging their loyalty, which is where you get sort of the foundation of a Holy Roman Empire style union. So patron-wise, we're doing some interesting things with this universe. So here is a portrait character art made for top backer Lance K. So big shout out and thank you, Lance, for supporting the project as the Duke of Virginia. So if you are a top backer, you can basically say, hey, this is my state, home state. I want to be the leader of this state, and you get your custom art made. It's a little like what we did with the Divided States, where basically prominent side characters or leaders were patrons. You know, guys remember that we had a lot of patrons appearing in episode 1 and episode 2. So here we're trying to do it more in terms of like a wiki page or still images with some patron credits. Additionally, via Flag Maker and Print, we now have like some really cool capacity to design and print flags for, you know, our patrons and send those as like personalized gifts. So especially for top patrons, for Lance K, he asked me if I could design a sort of Prussia-inspired Free State Duchy of Virginia flag, which is what we did. So we came up with this like ball or eagle emblem. And this is going to be produced as a flag for Lance K. This is some of the backer arts that he's getting shipped. Now, on the Kaiserreich Documentary 9 front, we are of course not only doing Kaiserreich Documentary 9, we are also doing World of Kaiserreich projects in China, what we call the China wave of content, which will define much of our spring and summer season here at Casablanca Cinema. So you can see we have Kuomintang and Legation Cities in production. Legation Cities specifically is really cool, very interesting, because it will be very much themed after, if you remember, we did an audio-only project, which was Nights in Shanghai, where we were experimenting with audio drama. We're continuing that storyline. So we will have, I asked Yana to basically give me some sketches of, instead of a traditional World of Kaiserreich art piece, let's do like a vintage poster of Nights in Shanghai, where it's like, you know, the entire world of Kaiserreich is going to be narrated by these characters, as well as framed as if it was like a noir spy thriller. And Yana just gave me these sketches, which I absolutely love, you know, the very cool vintage posters, which we'll probably put on the web shop as well. So the people who are into Nights in Shanghai, it's a bit of a niche project that me and Gabriel did last year, are gonna love, you know, this, because we will have it on the web shop. It will be a key art for World of Kaiserreich Legation Cities, continuing that storyline basically. I think here's the last one. Oh, no, wrong. Misclicking. Got it. Okay, I'm there. There we go. So, noir hero art, classic vintage movie poster feeling. Of course, we've always said we want to do something like what's it called? Casablanca. You guys remember the Casablanca poster? That's basically what I sent to Yana. Let's do something like this for the Legation Cities, and I think it will be a nice fresh take on World of Kaiserreich as a genre. Especially with the World of project, we're trying to always make it like very unique, where, you know, the character also very much defines the art style of the individual project. So this is a little bit more out of left field, a little bit more experimental. I think you guys will love it. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. As always, I want to thank you all for your continued support, guys. Get Cinema. I will see you all next week, and thanks for everything. See you guys.